the importance of breathing. So I've already created a video on breath and the importance of breath and support, but I thought I'd make a few more notes on the various types of breath that you might want to use in your performance work. Obviously, there is in and there is out in terms of breath. And you may decide to say your line on an in-breath rather than an out-breath, and it will change the feeling behind this. There are deep breaths, there are shallow breaths, there are long breaths, and there are short breaths. I could go on for ages with all of these different types of breath, and there are various combinations that you can use. I would advise you to experiment with them. We breathe in a different way, sometimes without realizing, to express our emotions. I think the most common one that you might associate with is if you're upset and crying, is that double or triple shallow in-breath. And I think this really works if you need to create a character that's gone through a large emotion and is crying. Experiment with that 2 or 3 in-breaths, shallow and fast, and then a longer sigh out breath. Have an experiment with that one if you're after something more emotional. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, think about whether you're acting on the out breath or snatching something, trying to speak on the in-breath. Obviously you can't speak on the in-breath because breath itself is supporting that speech, but you can sort of snatch your words in between. So think about the in-breath as well as the speaking or projecting breath. Think about where it comes from. As I said before, it all needs to come from your diaphragm, be supported by your diaphragm, your lungs, your intercostal muscles, etc. But you may want to play around with cheating that breath and using the shallow breaths or using a deeper breath or a longer breath to express different emotions. Now, there are no hard and fast rules here, although I'm trying to develop a map at the moment to try and map out those rules. I'll let you know when I've got that finished. But for now, play around with in, out, deep and shallow, and the pace of the breath to affect your acting in different ways. You've got to try it with the script or your devising work or with somebody that you're working with, and see what feels right for the scene. When you experiment, you might fall across a happy accident that you think, I never thought that that type of breath would have worked for this particular scene or this particular character. I would love to know how you get on with this, because as I said, I'm experimenting with it at the moment and trying to map out what works best for different emotions. Good luck with experimenting with your various types of breath.